in the alternative, in fact, even if they do not share it now, we can simply answer that practical exercise with everybody following. Then it will be easier for you to follow and to understand. All right. In conveyancing transactions, the understanding you need to have is that you are a conveyancer. You've passed the conveyancing examination. You've been admitted as a conveyancer. And as such, you have instructions to act as a conveyancer. And as a conveyancer, you deal with the registration of transfer of ownership from one person to another. You are appointed by the seller to assist in the registration of transfer. You are appointed to assist in the registration of transfer of ownership from the seller to the purchaser. The seller owns the property which is being sold, and he, in fact, is selling this property. Another party to the transaction is the purchaser, who wants to buy or who is buying the property sold by the by the seller. These two parties agree on the purchase price or have agreed on the purchase price, and they come to you to assist them further. They come to you to assist them with the transaction. Sometimes when they come to you so that you can help them draft the deed of sale or the contract of sale. But there are other instances where they come to you with a deed of sale already. They come to you after they have already signed the agreement. But whichever the case can or may be, of importance is for you to know what the parties are agreeing on, what the agreement between the parties says. For example, what is the purchase price? What is the purchase price? For how much is the property sold or purchased? How is the purchase price going to be paid? How is the purchase price going to be paid? For example, will the purchaser pay cash in respect of the whole purchase price, or will the purchaser pay a deposit with the balance having to be secured by way of a mortgage bond? In other words, will the purchaser get a home loan from a bank or from a building society or another financial institution. And the mode of payment used. Is it hard cash? Is it an EFT? Or is it a check if we were still living in the times of checks? So it is important for you to know or understand these aspects as provided for in the agreement or deed of sale. Another issue for you to understand and note from the deed of sale is who is liable for the costs of transfer. You have heard there was a question earlier on transfer duty. This is part of the costs of transfer. Who is liable for these? Ordinarily, the purchaser is liable for all costs of transfer. The purchaser is liable for all costs of transfer. But even if you know that the default position is that the purchaser is liable for costs of transfer, you still need to check the agreement. What does the agreement say about costs of transfer? Who must pay? It is important for you to look at the agreement in respect of costs. Another aspect is, do you have, you as the conveyancer, do you have instructions to invest? Does the purchaser authorize you to invest monies received from you, from him, or the deposit received from him? So it is important for you to check if you have authority or instructions. Because particularly 6 subsection 4 of the Legal Practice Act requires that when you invest on behalf of a client, you need to obtain written instructions or authority. So your client must authorize you in writing to invest. So if you do not have written instructions from a client to invest, you will not invest on behalf of the client. If you invest without instructions, the investment will be deemed to be an investment in terms of section 86(3) and not section 86(4). So in terms of the agreement, or when you look at the agreement, does it authorize you to invest the money that you receive from the client or the purchaser? You also need to note the dates on which transactions occur. You also need to note the dates on which transactions occur. care. On which date is a particular transaction occurring? Is it making sense? Right. Let us make use of the practical exercise given there to answer a question on conveyancing transactions, or to practicalize this discussion. The recording will be the same as we have been doing since Friday. Nothing is going to change. When you receive money, you will debit the cash book, depending on whether it is trust money or business money. If it is business money, you will debit the business cash book. And when it is trust money, you will debit the trust cash book and credit the relevant person or client giving you the money. So principles do not change. When you write fees, you'll make use of the fees journal. When you transfer, you'll make use of the transfer journal, where you are simply recording the movement of value from one account to another in trust. You will make use of the trust journal. So the principles that you know that we discussed earlier remain applicable. They'll remain applicable. So let us deal with this question, which appears in the notes sent to you. And what does it say? You are approached by Giantino to assist in the transfer of ownership over immovable property he sold to Bonchisi for 900,000. Right. I want us to analyze this. Who is the purchaser here? Who is the purchaser? Tell me.
Bonchisi.
Bonchisi is the purchaser. And who is the seller?
Giantino.
Giantino is the seller. What is the purchase price?
900,000.
900,000 is the purchase price. Do you get me? So have this in mind. Let's read further. In terms of the agreement, the purchaser will pay a deposit of 300,000 on date of signature, and the balance will be secured by bond from Khere Bank. How will this purchase price of 900,000 be paid? How will it be paid? Please assist me. How will it be paid? I've just read.
He will pay 300,000 as a deposit.
Yes.
And the balance will be paid through a bond, a mortgage bond.
From which bank?
From Khere Bank.
And what is the balance?
That will be 600,000.
That will be
600,000.
600,000. Right. You are authorized to invest the deposit at BNF Bank for the benefit of the purchaser. You see? So if you were curious about whether or not you have instructions to invest, that curiosity has been cleared, not so, because you now know that you have instructions to invest. You know that you have instructions to invest and have the benefit of the purchaser. The purchaser is liable for all costs of transfer. That aspect as well is clarified for you. You now know that the default position is going to apply. And the default position being that the purchaser is liable for all costs of transfer. Otherwise, the following transactions occur. Do you see? You even have dates there. Do you see? So these dates inform you of when transactions occur. Number one, on 1 February 2020, the agreement is signed and you receive 2 checks from the purchaser for 300,000 and 30,000 in respect of the deposit and pro forma costs, respectively. What is happening on the 1st of February? You are getting 2 checks. Which one is the deposit and which one is for pro forma costs? Please assist me.
The 300 is the deposit.
Yes.
The 300,000 is the deposit and the 30,000 is for pro forma cost.
Exactly. So, how do you deal with the transactions in 1 p.m.? How do we record this? How do we record this? Is my board still not visible?
Yes, it's still not visible, sir.
Right. How do we record this transaction taking place on 1 February?
Start with the date.
Yes. Where are we starting with the date? Which book are we using?
Trust cash book.
Trust Cash Book. Why Trust Cash Book?
You received money. The money belongs to the client.
We've received money. On which side of the Trust Cash Book are we recording?
The debit side.
The debit side. So we will record our date on the debit side and we will say 1 February. From which client? Who is the purchaser?
Bontisi.
From TC. Bonjisi. How much did you get from Bonjisi?
300,000.
300,000. Is that all we do?
No, we comply with the double entry system.
We comply with the double entry system. And what do we do in complying?
We open an account for Bonjisi in trust.
We open an account for Bonjis. So we open an account for Bonjis in trust. And what do we do to this account?
Credit.
Credit. When do we do this?
1 February.
1 February, Bonjis, 300,000. Is that all?
Sir,
Yes.
we were authorized to invest.
Okay. Yes.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
I also have a question.
Yes.
Did you write the dates there?
Yes, I did. 1 February, Bonjis, 300,000. This is in the debit side of the trust cash book. And then we opened an account for Bonjisi in trust, which we credited. And we started with a date. We said 1 February, Bonjisi, 300,000.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Right. What is next?
So 30,000 in respect of
We received 30,000. Where do we record?
on the debit side of the trust cash book.
On the debit side of the trust cash book. On which day?
1st of February 2020.
On the 1st of February 2020. Is that all we do?
No, we also credit Bonjisi in trust.
We also
Credit Bonjisi in trust.
you also credit Bonjisi in on the same date. You credit Bonjisi in trust, and you say your narration is trust cash book, just like you did with the first 300. Your narration being trust cash book, 30,000. Yes. Are we done?
Yes.
Yes. What else?
Then we move to number 2.
Then you go to number
2.
Okay. But here you have you have instructions to invest, not so?
Yes, but don't we only invest when the check is paid, not when the check is received?
Exactly. So you cannot invest today because it is an ordinary check which has not been cleared. Do you follow? Right. Then number 2020, you pay 12,000 to SARS for transfer duty. What is this? What is this?
Is the money going? No.
It's a disbursement, not so. How do you deal with disbursement? How do you deal with disbursement?
With this one, I think you are going to record it in the business cash book because the check was ordinary and they were both not cleared as yet.
Yes. So there is no money in fact from which to pay the transfer duty. Do you follow? But if the payment on the 1st of February were in cash or EFT, you would be able to pay transfer duty from the trust account. You understand this?
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Right. The reason you are not
Sir,
paying transfer duty today from the trust account is because the payment you received on the 1st of February,
sir,
yes,
I have a question with regards to item, that will be item 1.
yes,
You are saying that said something about we cannot invest the check since the check is not cleared.
yes.
But now what happens now, because we are no longer using checks, aren't we considering that EFT?
Yeah, this is exactly what I was explaining to you. Remember, I was saying to you that if the payment in one was by way of cash or EFT, you would have been able to pay transfer duty from account. Do you understand?
From? I didn't get that, sir. The signal is not so good. I didn't get that.
Okay. I'm saying if the payment on 1 February 2020 was
Yes.
not by way of checks,
Okay, yeah.
but cash or EFT, we
Yes.
would have been able to invest on the same day because there would be money available.
Okay.
Number two, we would have also been able to pay transfer duty because there would be money available in the trust account, and the transfer
Okay.
duty would be paid from the trust account.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Right. So the 12,000 transfer duty will be paid from the business account because we do not have money in the trust account. What we have in the trust account is a check or checks which checks have not been cleared. So we will pay from business. Business cash book. We'll open our business cash book, and on the credit side, we will record our date being 2 February, and then we record paid transfer duty of how much? 12,000. Paid transfer duty, 12,000. Is that all we do? Is that all we do?
No.
No. What else do we do?
Don't you open a business account for Bonchidi?
Eh?
Don't you open a business account for Mama?
No, I want you to tell me, not to ask me. What do we do? I ask. Shasha?
We do.
What do we do?
Open a business account for Bonchini.
Yeah.
Bonchis.
We open an account for Bonjisi in business, and we debit that account. So this is what we do. We open an account for Bonjisi in business, and we debit this account by saying business cash book, $12,000. So we record our date first, and then we narrate business cash book, 12,000. Right. Then we are done. What next? Does everybody get this?
Yes.
Right. Right. Then we proceed to the next attendance or the next instruction. And what is the next instruction? Instruction number 3. On 4 February, the bank advises you that the check for 300,000 was paid, but the one for 30,000 was dishonored. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? Shaka?
So it means now that you are able to invest the 300,000.
Yes. So we can invest today. In terms of which section?
Section 86, subsection 4.
Right. So in investing, we credit the first cash book because we are taking money out of the first cash book, and we will open an investment account. So we will come to the trust cash book. On the credit side, we record our date first for February, and we say investment on behalf of Bonjis for the sum of 300,000. For February, the investment on behalf of Bonjis, 300,000. Are you following? And then we open an account in trust, and we record on this account, or we name it. We name it investment on behalf of Bonjis in terms of Section 86, subsection 4, held at BNF Bank. And we debit the account. We debit the account on 4 February. Our narration will be trust cash book. The amount is 300,000.
Sir,
Yes.
please repeat that account that you were dealing with. I missed that.
Which one?
The one that you just opened now.
Okay, it's an investment account.
Okay.
Have you understood the part where I credited the trust cash book?
Yes, I got that.
Right.
I got
So
that.
we open an investment account, and
Okay.
and we call it investment on behalf of GC in terms of Section 86, subsection 4, held at BNF Bank.
Okay.
And then we debit this investment account. And do not forget that it is in trust. So you debit the investment account starting with your date being the 4th of February, and then your narration being trust cash book, and the amount 300,000.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Right.
Yes, thank you, sir.
What else do you do on the 4th day of February? What else do you do?
The check for 30,000 is an
The check for 30,000. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with it?
You credit it on the trust cash.
What do you do?
You credit the trust cash book.
You credit trust cash book on the 4th of February, and you will say RD check. 30,000. Is that all you do? What else do you do?
So do we narrate it as after check?
Eh?
We narrate as after check.
The what?
SRD check.
Your
The
break.
narration.
Where?
On the trust cash book. The one you just did now.
Oh, I said RD check. If you like, you can say dishonored check or unpaid check. Where else do we go after crediting the trust?
You debit Bonjisi in trust
You debit on in trust. On which date?
on the 4th of February 2020.
And your narration
Trust cash book
and the amount
30,000.
30,000. So you are done with the transactions which happen on the 4th of February. Do you understand? Then you go to 4 and deal with transactions of 5 February 2020. On 5 February 2020, the purchaser pays 30,000 cash. What do you do? What do you do?
Trust cash book.
You debit the trust cash book.
You debit the trust cash book. Why?
Because money is being paid to the trust account.
Right. We call this type of a payment the deposit. We call this a composite deposit. Why do we call it a composite deposit? We call it a composite deposit because it is a combination of trust and business money. It is a combination of trust and business money. Why do I say that it is a combination of trust and business money? It is because included in this amount of 30,000 is your own money in the sum of 12,000, which you paid transfer duty with from your own pocket. Do you remember that when you paid transfer duty, your client did not have money in trust? Do you remember that? Skokotla. Klaka.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Ragedi.
Yes, I remember, sir.
Do you remember you did not have money for the client in trust and you made use of your own money?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So now the check bounced and your client is giving you cash of 30,000. So it must register in your mind that included in this 30,000 is money which belongs to me. And how much is that? 12,000 rand. Meaning money is balance that remains if 12,000 is to be deducted. So this is what makes this type of a deposit a composite one. It makes it a composite deposit. In other words, because it is cash which you are receiving from the client in circumstances where the client already owes you a certain sum of money, it is possible for you to extract what is due to you at that moment and then only pay the balance to trust. Do you understand this? It is possible for you to take your money because in any event, by virtue of it being a disbursement, it is immediately due and payable. When your client pays by way of cash, you can take that which is due to you into business and then only deposit the balance into trust. But listen to the advice I give you. When you deal with composite deposits, to avoid any confusion, please take the whole composite deposit into trust. Take the whole composite deposit into trust. You will transfer later what is due to you from the trust account to the business account. But to avoid confusion, please simply take the whole of it into trust. You may be asked in a form of a short question, you may be asked, under what circumstances can business money be paid into trust? Under what circumstances can business money be paid to trust? You may be asked that question as a short one for a mark or two. And your answer is simple: when it is a composite deposit or when it is part of a composite deposit. Is it making sense? Do you get this? Right. So this 30,000 we will take to trust. And in taking to trust, it means we will debit the trust cash book and credit Bonjisi in trust. So this is what we will do. We also check on which date is this happening? On 5 February.
5
So
February.
we record 5 February and we record also Bonjisi 30,000 on the debit side of the trust cash book. And then we go to Bonjisi's account in trust and we credit it on the 5th day of February. Our narration is trust cash book and the amount is 30,000. 30,000 is the amount. And we are done that way. That way, we are done. All right. Let's move. Number 5. On 8 February 2020, receive a bank guarantee from Khere Bank in respect of the balance of the purchase price. On 8 February 2020, you receive a bank guarantee from Khere Bank in respect of the balance of the purchase price. What does this say to you, and what do you do on this date?
You don't do anything, sir.
You don't do anything.
Yes.
Sikwili is disputing there. We do Skwili. Skwili says there's something we must do. What is it? Skwili? Right.
I'm not sure about the next action, but I understand that it means that the loan has been approved.
It means that?
The loan for the balance,
Yes.
the bond has been approved.
And what do we do? Yes. What do we do? What do we do now that we know that the bond has been approved?
I think we're gonna debit the trust cash book. Oh no, sorry. Oh, no.
Say, I have a question. Can we
So you are no
consider...
longer answering me.
No, I'm no longer answering you because I'm confused. I understand that it means the bond has been approved, but now
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we can consider this this approval a receipt. Can we treat this as a receipt of this amount?
I'm asking you.
I'm not certain, sir.
What do we do? Okay, the question is, this approval or this guarantee, as the language says, is it money or is it an undertaking to pay in the future?
It is
An undertaking. It's an undertaking to pay in the future.
Right. Right.
Noted. Thank you.
So it means that today we will not do anything. Do you get me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. 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 So we will not do anything. We will instead smile and we will remember these when the transfer and the bond are ultimately registered. Right. Then let's go to the next item. Number 6. On 16 February 2020, the bond and transfer are registered. The bond and transfer are registered. What does this mean?
It means that guarantee, sir, we can now record it in the trust cash book.
As money.
Yes.
Right. Right. So it means at this stage, we can accept that we are done with our mandate. We have been able to successfully register the transaction at the deeds registry office. So what has to happen now is that because the purchaser is now the owner of the property, the seller has performed, the seller is now entitled to payment of the purchase price. Do you understand this? The seller is now entitled to the purchase price. So we need to ensure that we pay the purchase price to the seller. How much is the purchase price? Do you remember?
900,000.
900,000.
900,000. Do we have it in the trust account? Do we have it in the trust account?
No, we don't, sir.
We don't. Where is this purchase price if we don't have it in the trust account?
It is with the bank.
It is with them?
It is with the bank.
In which sense?
The outstanding guarantee that they promised, the remaining money lies within that guarantee, sir.
Yes. And the deposit? Invested.
What about it, sir?
Yes, where is the deposit? Remember the purchase paid a deposit of 30,000. Where is it?
Yes.
I mean, of 300,000. It has been
invested, yes.
Yes. So what do? We close the investment account and bring the money back. Ne?
Yes.
Okay.
Second,
Can you read the additional note there on page 2? Just after required, you see there's an additional note there. You see what it says?
Yes, sir.
What does it say?
It says, please record above transactions in your books of account and transfer what you are entitled to from the trust account to the business account.
Yes. And the additional note just below that, what does it say?
On calling up the investment, you receive an extra amount of 3,000 as interest.
Yes. How do you deal with it?
Sir,
Mm.
can you please repeat what you said on the 600,000? We have the 600,000.
Eh?
Can you please repeat what you said on the 600,000?
I'm not hearing you. Can you make me hear you? What are you saying?
Can you please say with regards to 600,000?
The 300,000.
600,000.
600,000.
Yes. Why don't we have it?
Where?
You said that we could be paying Jantino, but we don't have the 600,000 and the 300,000. Can you please repeat what you said on why we don't have the 600,000?
I said we could have paid Jantino.
Yes.
Yes.
And you said
because we have not received it yet. Remember that it was secured by bond from her. And on the 8th, her gave us a guarantee. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So we will only get the balance of the purchase price on the date of registration of transfer, being the 16th of February. Do you follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now, let us close the investment account so that we get the invested funds plus interest back to trust. Can we do that? And how do we do that? We credit the investment account on the 16th of February, and our narration will be trust cash book. and we credit 300,000. So we even close this account. There's no longer money in it. And then we take it to the trust cash book. And on the credit side, we record 16 February, on GC, and then we write capital is 300,000. And we were told that we also have paid interest. So below the capital, on the trust cash book, we will record interest, 3,000. What else do we do with the interest, Skokotla?
We pay 95% to the LPFF.
The opposite, the other way around.
We pay 95% to the client.
Yes.
And we pay 5% to the LPFF.
Exactly. So we credit the client with 95% and the LPFF with 5% of the interest.
Yes.
How much is 95% of 3,000?
It's 2,850.
So we will on 16 February credit Bonjisi interest and narrate trust cash book with 2,850, you say?
Yes.
Right. What else do we do?
We have to open an account for LPFF.
Open an account for LPFF, Legal Practitioner Fidelity Fund. And what do?
We have to debit the LPFF with 5% of the interest.
Debit.
Credit.
Credit.
Yes.
And how much is that? How much is 5% of the interest?
It's 150.
150.
Yes.
Yes. Are we done?
I think we might. I don't know if it's too soon to close the account for LPFF.
We've paid them, so we can't close it.
We can't yet, ne?
We haven't paid them. We have only told that they are entitled to 150.
Okay.
Or we have 150 for them in our trust account. All right. What else? Remember, at this stage, our focus is on paying the purchase price to the seller. Not so. Do we now have sufficient funds in trust to pay the purchase price to the seller? Do we? Do we have? Just look at your transactions there and tell if you have the full purchase price to pay to the seller. Do you have the purchase price?
I think we do.
We do.
In a sense that we have the 300,000 and the bond.
Where is the bond? I don't see
The bond has been.
I don't see it in my books. Do you see it in yours?
Oh yeah, it isn't updated yet.
So what do we do?
It means then we need to update it.
How?
Uncertain.
You are certain.
I'm not certain as to how we do that since the 600,000 is with the bank. And we
Yes, so
cannot update the
no,
book of the bank.
they gave you an undertaking, not so.
Yes, they did.
And what did the undertaking say?
That they were to pay that amount on a future date. Now that we have registered, it means we can give them a go ahead in a way.
So today is that future date, not so.
Yes, the
Because
16th.
that future date is the date on which the transaction will register, not so.
Yes, that will be the 16th.
Yes. And this is the 16th. Today is the 16th of February. So what do we do?
So we
Maybe
debit the trust cash
submit
book
the-
with the 600,000.
What do you say we do?
We debit the trust cash book with the 600,000.
Yes. Kumashiro.
Yes.
Yes. So we receive the balance of the purchase price from the bank, 600,000. We debit. On the 16th of February, Bonjisi, 600,000. What else do we do?
Credit Bonjisi interest.
Trust. With how much?
With 600,000.
On which day?
On the 16th.
How much?
600,000.
600,000. Do we now have money in the trust account paying the purchase price to the seller?
Yes.
Yes, we do. How much is the purchase price?
900,000.
900,000.
If you look at the purchaser's account in trust, does he have 900,000? Does he have 962,850 minus 80,000 on the debit side? Do you see? That means your client has 932,850. So he does have the purchase price in trust. And then it means we can proceed to pay the purchase price to the seller. Not so. Are you with me?
Yes.
No, sir.
Right.
Sir, before
Yes.
you proceed,
Mm.
you said in which account do we determine that purchase price?
The purchaser's account. Remember, this property now belongs to the purchaser. Not so. It is the purchaser buying this property. And who's the
Yes.
purchaser? Who is the purchaser here in this transaction?
Bonjis.
Bonjis. So you look at
Yes, sir.
Bonjis' account in trust to see if the purchase price is there.
Oh, okay.
Is it there?
Okay, yes.
Is
Yes,
it there?
I got it. Yes, it
How
is.
much? How much do you
I got
see in? How much do you see in Bonji's account?
I have 600, 300, and is it 930? 900.
932,850.
Yes.
Because on the credit side, it's 962,850 minus the 30,000 that is on the debit side. Do you see? Then you have 932,850.
Okay, no, I got it. Thank you very much, sir.
Right. So you have the purchase price. So because the seller, Jandino, is your client, he's the one who approached you with this transaction. When you pay him, you do not pay him like you are paying a disbursement where you can simply credit the trust cash book and debit Bonjisi's account in trust. Instead, you must create an account for your client, Jandino. And how do you do that? You do that by making use of a journal called Trust Journal. So you will use a Trust Journal. In the Trust Journal, you will debit Bonjisi and credit Jandino with the purchase price. Let's do it. We debit Bonjisi with 900,000 and we credit Jandino with 900,000. And then our narration will be transfer of purchase price. What does this mean? It means we are transferring the purchase price from the purchaser's account to the seller's account. Is it making sense? And then from here, you then post two ledgers. You post two ledgers. Bonjisi, you debit 900,000. So you come to Bonjisi's ledger in trust on the 16th of February, and your narration will be Jandino. Jandino. 900,000. And then, because you do not have an account for Jandino, you open it. You open an account for Jandino in trust, and you credit 900,000. And this happens on 16 February. Your narration is purchase price. Purchase price. Do you follow? Debit Bonjisi in trust. Open an account for the seller, being Jandino, in trust, and credit it. On Jandino's account, your narration will be purchase price. And your date is 16 February. On Bonjisi in trust, on the debit side, you will first record your date, 16 February 2020, and your narration will be Jandino, and the amount is 900,000. Right. Any question? And this does not mean that you have now paid the purchase price. You have not yet paid the purchase price. What you have done is that you have demonstrated the fact that Jandino, being the seller, has 900,000 in your trust account. In other words, the money that you had for the purchaser, being Jandino, part of it has now been transferred to Jandino's account in trust. 900,000 of that money is no longer belonging to Bonjisi, but now to Jandino, the seller. Can we now pay the purchase price? Can we pay it to the seller? Can we? Kaka? Yes, Ragedi?
It sure looks like it's because we
It does what?
looks like it. We have the money, now we can pay.
So now we can pay. Right.
Yes.
How much is the purchase price?
900,000.
How much is standing to the credit of the seller, Jandino?
600,000.
Read your books. How much is standing to the credit of the seller?
Okay.
Enter your account there. Look at the seller's account. How much?
I missed out on the seller's account, sir.
Why?
I couldn't hear that, but I just figured since I heard what you were saying, I would get from the picture.
We must follow. We must follow. It's very important to follow, Ragedi.
Yes, it is.
Very, very important. We follow here. We don't wash dishes by the side.
I would say.
And we don't send kids around. Right. Remember that we said when we pay the seller, we do not pay like we are paying a disbursement, where we will simply credit the trust cash book and debit the purchaser. Instead, we create an account for the seller because the seller is our client. And how did we create this account? we created an account for the seller by using a trust journal. We opened a trust journal where we debited purchasing Bonjisi and credited Jandino with 900,000 being the purchase price.
Yes.
And because we have a principle which says after recording on a journal, you must post to ledgers. We did that. We went to Bonjisi in trust and debited. And from there, we opened an account for Jandino in trust and credited the account. But then, this does not mean that we have paid. No, it doesn't mean that. What it means is that Jandino now has 900,000 in our account. He now has 900,000 in our account. So now we want to pay. And I'm asking, what is purchase price, Raredi?
900,000, sir.
Is it available in trust for us to pay it?
Yes, it is.
Where do we see it? How do we know if it is available? Where do we see this recorded?
The Jantino in trust account.
Jandino in trust. How much do you see on Jandino in trust, and on which side of the book do you see the amount reflected?
Credit of 900,000.
Credit of 900,000. We now can proceed to pay, not so already?
Yes, it is.
How do we pay?
I'd like to think we'll go back to the let me just the cash book, the trust cash book.
Yes. How do we pay? How does money go out, already?
We are going, I think we will transfer the money from trust to either the business cash book and then to Jantino.
Why does client money go to business?
Sorry?
What is client money going to do in business?
If we cannot transfer directly from trust account.
Why can't we?
If we can, then we can do just
No, why can't we? Is there a reason we can't transfer client's money from trust to him? Is there a reason?
No, sir.
Remember, when we started, what did I say about the trust account and the business account? Business account deals with your money, and trust account deals with client's money.
Client's money, yes.
So what does client's money want in your business account?
Okay, so it means that we will transfer the money from the trust account to Jantino's
And how do we do that?
I'm not sure.
No, you know how we do it. Look at your trust cash book, look at your business cash book, see how we did it when money went out and when money came in.
So I think you credit the trust cash book.
By and say what?
And say paid Jantino
Yes. On which day?
on the 16th,
Yes. Paid Santino, how much?
900,000.
900,000. What
Yes.
else?
You now have to go to Jantino's account
Mm-hmm.
and go and debit that 900,000.
David Santino is 900,000. Your narration will be,
Trust cash book
and when does this happen?
on the 16th.
On the 16th. Right. The situation would be different if you had an estate agent involved. You understand? Do you follow?
Sorry, sir, I missed that.
I'm saying the situation would have been different if you had an estate agent involved.
Okay.
In other words, if there was an estate agent in your transaction, the estate agent would have been entitled to a commission, estate agent's commission. You understand me? And the person who is liable to pay the estate agent is the seller. So if you were told that there's an estate agent involved in the transaction and the estate agent's commission amounts to 50,000, for example, before you pay the purchase price to the seller, you'd first deduct what is due to the estate agent. You understand me? You'll start by paying the estate agent the 50,000 which is due. And you will do this by crediting the trust cash book and narrating paid estate agent 50,000. And then you go to the seller or Jantino's account and debit 50,000 with your narration being trust cash book. And then it means you would pay Jantino 850,000 and not 900,000. Do you understand? Ready?
I hear you, sir, but I'm not getting that. Wouldn't this then affect the purchase price?
Huh?
Wouldn't this action affect the purchase price?
Of course.
Or
Estate agent's commission is payable from the purchase price.
meaning that 900,000 would the 50,000 would be the 900,000 would be inclusive of the
Yes.
estate agent.
Yes.
Okay.
So we would
Thank you,
take 50,000 from it.
So I missed the part where you were telling us how to pay the agent. You say we must do what before we debit Jantino?
if there's an estate agent involved,
Yes.
you start by paying the estate agent before you pay the seller.
Yes.
Let us say, for example, the purchase price is still 900,000,
Yes.
and you have shown it on the credit side of Jantino's account as 900,000.
Okay. Yes.
But before you pay it, before you credit the trust cash book with the purchase price, you start by paying the estate agent. In other words, you would start by saying paid estate agent 50,000. If 50,000 was the fee for the estate agent,
In the trust cash
then
book.
yes, because that is where money goes out from.
Okay.
Not
Yes.
you,
Yes.
you credit.
Yes.
You say pay estate agent 50,000. You credit
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And then debit Jantino
Okay.
50,000.
Okay.
Then what remains? What would have remained after that payment in Jantino's account?
850,000.
Yeah. Then when you pay your client Jantino, you would be paying 150. When you
850,000.
pay,
Okay.
yes, that's it. So
Thank you, sir.
you have paid the seller, Jantino. And this does not mean that you are done with your transaction. Not so. There's something that you have not done. What is it? Look at your transactions and tell me there's something you've not done yet. You've done your work. We can see you've registered the transfer and the bond. You've collected money. You have paid the purchase price to the seller. But there's something that you have not done. And this is the primary reason you accepted the instruction. What is it?
You haven't paid yourself.
You haven't paid yourself. That is true. But have you even written fees? Just check. Have you written fees? Please assist me. Look at your records and tell if you've written fees. Have you?
No.
You've not written fees. So what do you do?
Do we have to open an account for fees?
Yes, and what do you call them? What do you call that?
A fees journal.
Fees journal. Fees journal. How much is your fee?
Isn't it 18,000, sir?
Hmm?
Isn't it 18,000?
It is. Where do you get it?
It's 30,000, the one on pro forma cost, minus 12,000, the one that we paid the transfer due to.
Excellent. Ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Sir?
Do you get it?
Yes, I do, sir.
How much is our fee?
That 18,000, from her explanation, I understand it. The balance from the pro forma.
Who's liable for costs? Who's liable for cost of transfer?
The purchaser.
Yes. And who's the purchaser?
On GC.
One cheese. So we debit one cheese with 18,000 and credit fees with 18,000. So this is how you write fees without VAT. You understand? Transfer fees or fees for transfer. And then where do we go from here?
Post to ledger.
Post to ledger. Trust or business ledger?
Business.
Business. On GC, what do we do? Debit or credit?
Credit.
Huh?
On GC we debit.
Debit how much?
18,000.
Right. Narration. Narration.
Please.
Fees. What else do we do?
The date.
The date. What is the date?
The 16th.
The 16th. Is that all we do? Is that all we do?
No.
No. What else?
We open an account for fees.
We open an account for fees. And what do we do on this account?
We credit.
Credit. What is our date?
16.
Narration. What do? Is that all? Is that all we do? Hmm? Is that all we do?
Sir,
Yes.
may you please explain from the fees journal? I think I got lost there. I no longer see what's happening.
Right.
Yes. Yes,
You
sir.
said our fees amount to 18,000, not so.
Yes, sir.
And where do we record fees?
In the fees journal.
And how do we record on the fees journal?
We will credit Bonjisi.
Credit.
We will debit Bonjisi 18,000.
Yes.
Yes.
And do what? And do what?
That's when I lost you, because I heard something about opening a
the dual entry system, not so. You can't debit and not credit. It's not possible.
Oh, I missed that part.
But yeah, you can't miss it, because I said to you throughout.
Yes, you
When you
did, sir.
debit, you must also credit. When you credit, you must also debit.
Debit, that's true.
Yes.
Okay. I see where I missed it. Thank you, sir.
You get it now.
Yes, I do. I want to rectify that on my books.
Please do that.
Yes, thank you, sir.
And then after crediting on the journal, where do you go? Where do you go after crediting?
We post to ledger.
We post to
post
ledger.
to
Which ledger? Business trust ledgers. Ready?
Sir?
Business or trust ledgers?
Business ledger.
Yes. And which ledgers are affected?
That would be
Yes. Which ledger?
When she's in business, on the books.
When you say in business, what do you do?
We debit.
You debit. And then fees, what do you do?
Credit.
And what is the narration and date?
For Ponjisi in business, the narration is fees.
So, once you say in business, you debit and you credit fee.
Yes.
Right.
yes, that's true.
So from there, where do you go? You return your fees. You need to transfer. And in transferring, what do you do? The two things.
Check if you have money.
Determine what is due to you.
how much is due to us?
Yes.
How much? How much is due to us?
18,000.
Eh?
8,000.
How much? Ragedi,
18,000, sir.
where do you get that? Malaba?
I'm still calculating, sir.
Mukete?
30,000, sir.
Oh, plus
How much?
that.
30,000.
Ragedi?
Sir?
How much?
It's 18,000 multiplied by 0.
This is how much?
18,270.
Where do you get that?
Now I'm changing my amount. It's 20,700.
Why?
It's 18,000 plus VAT.
Where do you get the VAT from? Because when we wrote fees, we did not include any VAT.
Okay, hence I included it. I thought we were supposed to include it now that we are
No, but
finalizing.
we wrote fees already. Remember, if you want to include VAT, you will include it from the fees journal, not so.
Okay.
Now we are simply determining, we want to transfer, we are simply determining how much is due to us. And also checking if it is available in trust. That's what we are doing now. So I ask, how much is due to us? And what do we do to determine how much is due to us? Remember, we sang about this Friday.
So
Yes.
I think we have to check on the debit side of Bonjisi in business.
Yes.
Yes,
How
and we
much?
have 30,000.
30,000. Ready?
Sir?
How much?
So I still haven't determined that. I think
Yeah?
I'm being dribbled by my own books now.
Why?
Please answer that.
So you say, where do you get the 30,000 from?
Yes. Where do you
Because
get
I'm
it from?
Can
So
Portia,
don't you check the trust in business?
can Portia please tell us where the 30,000 is coming from?
Hmm?
Check Bonjizi. Check that they have
Debit side
12,000.
Bunches in business.
How do you determine how much a person owes you? How do you determine that?
You have to balance the account.
Hmm.
I think you have to.
So, which account are you balancing now?
Business account.
The business account.
Yes.
Not Bonjisi's account in business.
It's Ponchi's account in business, not business account.
How much do you get there?
30,000. 30,000, 12,000 plus
30,000.
18,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Raledi?
I understand it now. I got it.
Yes, I
How
also
did you get it?
understand it.
I understand how she got the 30,000.
How did she get it?
She added the 12,000 in Bonjisi in business and the 18,000. The two transactions from the 2nd of February and the 16th of February.
Yes. So that is what you must always do to determine how much is due to you. So, is this money available in the trust account? In other words, can we transfer 30,000? Go to Bonjisi in trust to determine this. Is there money that you can transfer from Bonjisi's account? In fact, how much do you see in Bonjisi's account in trust?
930,000.
962,850 minus 930. Is that not what you see?
Yes, it is.
Remember, when you want to balance an account, you compare the two sides. The one with a higher value will minus the one with a lower value. Not so?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's
So can I please ask,
932,850.
How much do we have?
932,850.
No. Balance the account. You will see the amount.
32,850.
Yes. How did you do it?
Take the higher amount minus.
The higher amount and credit side minus debit side.
Yes. Credit side minus debit side. So now, can you say that you have sufficient funds in trust to transfer to business?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So we go to a transfer journal, not so?
Yes.
So we will debit Bonjisi interest and credit Bonjisi in business. How much? 30,000. And then our narration would be transfer of fees and transfer of fees and disbursements. Do you follow? We'll go to the transfer journal. We'll go to the transfer journal, and on the transfer journal, we will debit Bonjisi in trust with 30,000, and then credit Bonjisi in business with 30,000. Our narration will be transfer of fees and disbursements. Transfer of fees and disbursements. And then we post to ledgers. Bond GC in trust will be paid on 16 February. And narration will be Bond GC in business. The amount is 30,000. And then Bond GC in business, we credit 30,000 on the 16th of February. And the narration is Bond GC in trust. So Bond GC in business can be closed because you have the same amount on both sides. Can we proceed? So now we've paid ourselves, but there's one thing that is left in finalizing the payment for ourselves. What is that, Kokot?
Sorry, sir. Can you please repeat?
I'm saying we have recorded a transfer there. And I'm asking what is remaining for us to see the amount in our business account.
We transfer the money from trust cash book to business cash book.
And how do we do that?
We credit the trust cash book and debit the business.
Yes, we credit the trust cash book on 15 February and we transfer to business cash book. How much? 30,000.
30,000.
And then we debit the business cash book with 30,000 on the 16th of February, and our narration is extra cash book. So this way, we have been paid. This way, we have been paid. Any question?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You see on Bonchisi, there was a transaction on the 16th, ne? Yeah, 2,850 on both the credit side and the debit side, and also the same amount went to.
No, don't rush. On Bonchisi, you say you had an amount of 2,850 on both the debit and the credit side.
Yes, that's why I'm confused. I don't understand where that comes
On
from.
the same account of Bonchisi.
Mm.
No, that is not true.
Where did I go wrong?
I do not know, but we don't have two amounts here for Bonchisi on both the debit and the credit being for 2,850. We only have 2,850. Or where do you see that?
No, so like legit, I have that, so I'm confused. I don't know where I get it from.
No. Do not look yet at what Mzimba has just distributed now. Look at your own books. Shasha?
Yes, I'm listening.
Do not look at what Mzimba has now. Look at this when you are, because we have not reached there yet.
So the amount is on the debit side.
Eh?
So the 208.50 is on the debit side.
280.
2,850.
Where is it?
It's on the debit side.
Why do you have it on the debit side when we don't have it? We only have it on the credit side so far. And you are looking at your own notes, not so.
Yes, I'm looking at my own notes and I have a double transaction, so I'm so confused.
Where do you get that double transaction?
I don't know. That's why I asked.
Listen, on the debit side of Bonchisi, we only have 3 transactions.
Yes, the 30,000.
We have 30,000, 900,000, and 30,000.
Okay.
So we don't have 2,850 on the debit side. We have it on the credit side.
Okay.
And the reason we don't have it on the debit side is because there's no payment yet.
Okay. I understand, sir.
So where do you get it?
I think by the time we did it, I entered it on the credit on the debit side, because on my debit side I have Trust Cash Book 30,000, and then I have Trust Cash
Yeah,
Book
but you're saying it appears on both sides. But your question was that it appears on both sides.
Yes, that's my confusion. And then now again, I see it on the credit side. So I'm confused. I don't know why I'm confused. Not that I'm very confused. That's why I asked this question.
And the confusion is because you recorded it on the debit side when we did not record it on the debit side.
Yes.
Okay. So you will have it on the debit side, but not at the time when you did it. You understand me?
Yes.
It will only be on the debit side when you pay the interest bunches, because you are going to pay the interest. This end from the investment, do you remember?
Yes.
And we hadn't paid it.
Okay.
We will pay it by crediting the Trust Cash Book. And this we will do on 16 February. We'll say paid Bonchisi 2,850. Do you see?
Yes.
And then from there, we will debit Bonchisi only now. On 16 February, on the debit of Bonchisi account, Trust Cash Book, amount is 2,850. So now it appears on the website only now, but you had brought it prematurely.
Yes. But now I understand.
Now you get it.
Yes.
Okay. So we can also pay the Legal Practitioners Fidelity Fund, the 150. Remember, we have 150 for the LPFF, which we got as 5% of the interest received from the purchaser's investment. Sasha?
Sir, I'm here.
Do you get this?
My network cuts a bit. Can you please repeat that?
Do you understand that we need to pay 150 to the LPFF.
Yes.
And where is this 150 coming from?
We have a journal askira, the LPFF.
Yes.
On the credit side, we had 150.
Of that ledger.
Yes, from the trust cash book.
So now we pay. How do we pay? How do we make this payment now?
You close the account.
No, want to pay.
Don't you pay it on the trust cash book?
Yes. And how do we record?
On the credit side.
On the credit side, what do we say?
1602
Yes.
2020. And then
and then
150. The amount is gonna be 150.
The narration.
Yeah. Paid the legal practitioners fertility fund, I think.
Yes. And what else do you do?
You go on the debit side on the legal practitioners fertility fund.
Yes.
And then you write the date.
Yes.
And then you put the 150. The narration is gonna be the trust cash book.
Yes. And then you close the account, not so?
Yes.
150, 150. You can also close Jantino's account, not so? Look at Jantino's account.
Yes, it's both 900,000.
Yes. Ready?
Sir?
Can we close Bonchis' account as well?
Yes, you said we should, yeah.
How much?
Sir, I'm no longer following. I don't know if I'm the only one. May we have a break? Please.
Ready?
I'm no longer following, sir. I'm exhausted.
Okay, but can you see Bonchis' account?
Yes.
Yeah.
So can I ask? Can I ask?
Yeah.
So, the time when we were opening the account for LPFF.
Yes.
What if I immediately, because at the back of my head I have it that eventually I'm going to record the payment to the LPFF from the trust cash book, right?
Mm.
So what if immediately after I've opened that account and I realized that there won't be anything else to record there based on the information that we have, and I immediately record it as paid LPFF, will it be wrong?
No, it won't be wrong, because even if you don't start with it, it will still be done on the same date. It will still be the 16th.
Okay,
Remember,
so
on the 16th
yes,
is the date on which you receive the interest. And it is going to be the same date on which you pay to the LPFF. You see?
yes, yes.
So you can do that, no problem.
All right, thank you, sir.
Mulava?
I'm tired, sir, but I'm following.
Okay. All right. It's okay. Okay. Any question before we break? Is it before we break, or is it before we call it a day?
Call it a day.
Before you call it.
Before we call it a day, sir.
Okay. Yes. Ask me questions and we will call it a day. Unless you want to say it is clear. Sekwili, you are very quiet today. Sikwele?
Sir,
I'm not hearing you today.
sir, I was answering.
I didn't hear you.
I don't know why, but I was answering your questions.
Okay. Rito?
Following, sir.
Yeah. Talk to me.
Yeah, it's just that I'm doing this module for the first time. Like, yo, yeah, but I'm following.
Yeah, but you need to be active. You need to be active so that you can. You can't keep quiet because it is for the first time.
Sir? Sir? Sir?
I think Ujemile.
Hello.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
So suppose if maybe we didn't have instruction to invest, the whole 3,000 interest was going to go to the LPFF, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Could you please repeat the part of composite deposit? I didn't get it well when you were dealing with it.
I said a composite deposit is a combination of trust and business money.
Okay. And you said instances where money belonging to the business can be in the trust cash book.
Under what circumstances can business money be put into trust?
Yes, that part, I missed it.
Yeah. And I said that it is when that payment constitutes a composite deposit.
Okay. It's the only instance, right?
I said that you may be asked a question around a composite deposit. So you need to know how to deal with this. You need to read a bit about composite deposits.
Okay.
So you need to know what it is and how it is dealt with. And remember, my advice is that with a composite deposit, please simply take it to trust. You will still get it when you transfer what is due to you. And at that stage, it will also be inclusive of your fees if you happen to write fees.
All right.
Makudu. Makudu guy.
Tawela kulo tsekona mo.
Oh, woman, di maganya biana.
Ai, disipula au jira kushisha man.
Dia kenanya.
Yeah.
Okay. Ulugi. Ulugi. Schobel. All right. Thank you for your audience. We will meet again tomorrow. We will be revising on some of these things and a little something new. But according to your program, we are done. According to your program, we are done. We will revisit some of these concepts tomorrow. And please, when you have time after resting, revisit this work, revisit everything we did ever since we started, so that we can be very active together tomorrow.
Sir,
Yes.
please do not forget to send the picture.
Oh yes, this one. Okay. Let me
to
attend to it immediately.
classroom.
Yes. Yes. I'll do so. I'll do so right away.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All right.
Kanimamba.
Ibamandai uyelela kanimamba.
Yeah.
Sir,